So sometime after that event, I decided I wanted to leave Lenox Hill Hospital and pursue a different job because my mind also was in a place like, okay, if you ever get pregnant, you have to be to work at 6 a.m.
Right.
Who's keeping your baby?
Right.
At 4 a.m. because you got to drop the baby off super early. And I was just saying I needed to make like some modifications to my life in order to start setting myself up to have a baby because I knew it was something I really, really, really wanted. And when I started thinking that way, I went back to kind of obsessing about it. Like it was a very deep obsession. Like I was buying, they want you to buy thermometers and like take a basal body temperature every morning at the same time. So every morning before you move out of the bed, like you should not make any sudden movements. You need to take your temperature. And when you see the peak in your temperature, then that means you're ovulating. So I was doing that and I'm like literally keeping charts. I'm doing that. I had found another thing that's by Clear Blue. That's like the people that make the pregnancy test. So they have like ovulation kit. So I'm using their ovulation kit to show, and I'm like obsessing, and I'm obsessing with his father. Like, oh my God, look, we got the happy face. This is, and to him, it's like, this is now a job. Like, this is not fun for me. This is a job because it's like, I'm ovulating.
Now.
This is the short period of time we have. It's got to get done. And that, oh, you're going to fall. And it was just like, okay. Again, let me get myself on track. Let me, personally, let me work out some things to be able to move on, to get in the baby. So when I started at Memorial Sloan, no.
Oh, okay.
So when I got to Memorial Sloan, I got hired and they sent me a package online that tells you how to pick your benefits. The first thing I saw was under insurances that they had insurance to cover infertility. I knew automatically, like, this is the place for me.
Right.
Because my current job doesn't pay for it. And it gets pretty pricey.
Right.
So now I'm at the new job, and our benefits become available automatically.
Nice.
And I was like, I'll waste some time. I don't want to just jump into it. Maybe 3 months in, I called and just, inquire about the benefits. And they tell you, you have 3 IVF cycles under them.
What's that? What's
So you can try the IVF 3 different times.
Oh, okay.
If it's not successful, it counts as 1. So under their umbrella, you have 3 cycles. So he's part of my first cycle. So if I ever wanted to do it again, I have 2 more left. So they cover, she told me they cover the medication, they cover this, that, and the third. And although I'm thinking, can't be that bad. This has got to be simple because when you watch IVF on TV, it's like you got a couple of needles, bam, somebody's having a baby.
Right.
So I'm like,
now what does IVF stand for again?
In-Vitro fertilization.
In-Vitro fertilization, right? Okay, just making sure. So like my mom was like, it's In-Vitro. Yeah.
So I'm like, this is gonna be simple. I know that. In the back of my mind, this is an option. And I just wanted to talk to his dad, like to confer with him, like, what do you think? I want a baby. He, at that point, was kind of like, I know that's really what you want. And, let's go for it. Let's find out what we do.
Right.
I then decided to look for a place to get a consultation. Not every place is free, and I didn't want to pay for a consultation because I was not 100% sure that this is what I wanted. So I was like, let me just, research. I found this place. I absolutely love them. Thank you for them because Soren is here.
Yes, sir.
They're called the Chelsea Fertility Clinic down on 35th Street between
Shout out to them.
Lexington and Park. I went for my first consultation, and everyone is super sweet. They have all of my medical records certain surgeries I knew that I had, certain procedures I asked to have faxed over to them. I did see some of my reports, but I'm not a medical person at this point to the fact that I'm like, oh, I know exactly what's wrong with me.
Right.
So I go in, I sit down with the office manager, and then she's like, I need to bring the doctor in. Let me let you meet her. And she comes in, her name is Dr. Hartog, and she looks at my records and she says, so you had a histosalpingogram. Did they ever tell you your tube was damaged? At this point, it is like 8 years later from the date of that test.
Right.
And I'm like, never heard that. And she's like, are you sure?
Wow.
I'm like, I'm very positive.
Right.
I wouldn't have tried as hard as I've been trying.
Right, because you would have knew, focus on this specific thing. What can we do about this? Instead of just saying, is it this, is it this, is it this, is it this?
Mm-hmm. And she said, I can get you approved from your insurance with this one form. And I said, okay. All right, so what's next? She said, well, when do you menstruate? And I'm like, well, I'm going to Jamaica, but like maybe like in a week. And she said, come back on that day. That was in 7 days. I said, okay. I'm excited, but I'm also very nervous at the same time. So I'm like, I didn't have much time to think about it because I wasn't expecting her to say that.
Right.
So
because you kind of got an answer to the why. You know, now you kind of got to like, okay, wait, because sometimes when you hear the answer though, now you kind of either get the realization of it might not happen now because of this, or it's like, okay, maybe there's a chance now because now we can focus. So you got both, things going on in your mind. So, I go to Jamaica. Oh, yay! Wow. Down the slide.
I go to Jamaica, and when I am actually returning home.
Sorry.
Excuse me, thank you. Leave it with your stick up here. I called the office to say that my time started before I was supposed to, but I wasn't back in New York yet. I was like on a layover. And they're like, that's fine, just come tomorrow. Okay. So I'm like, okay. And I tell you, things move very fast. Tomorrow was, here are your needles, and let me show you what to do with the needles. And I'm talking... You up, but that's what you're watching. Now, bye-bye. Go watch your ba in your room, okay? Here, get your cards. Wait, look, show me your letters. What letter is this? No.
F them letters right now.
No. Hey.
Gotta edit all this out.
No.
No.
I said no.
Coming up here.
All right, so what were we talking about now?
So you're up to Jamaica. You just got back. And
needles. We're back at needles. So the day that I go to the office, the day is like blood work for me, blood work for his dad. They just need to make sure that he has like, a good lab workup, and then they take me into the room, like a procedure room, to show me how to inject myself with the first round of needles. Okay.
Sorry.
Hey, go drink your milk. Sit down. Thank you.
Come on.
I think everything's funny. So they let me know like what happens with the first round of medication, which is about 10 days, 10 to 11 days of medication. So there's 2 injections that you have to give yourself in your belly. These are to create eggs. So they would like you to have as many they call them follicles. They would like to have you have as many follicles as possible that gives you a better outcome in the long run. Okay. Yeah, put the light on. Sit down. Put the light on. Ooh. So, his dad is like completely like mortified by the needle process.
So you had to do 2 a day?
2 a day.
At the same time, or?
They're at the same time. Every single day. So every day you have 2 needles. So if you start at 2 p.m., every day you need to be available at 2 p.m. to give yourself these needles. So I tried to go with the time that I'm usually home from work at 7:30. I shouldn't normally be outside, and it's 10 days. Like, never gonna be outside. I find myself giving them to myself in a BJ's parking lot at 7:30 one day because I was not home and I had to travel with it.
Right, because it got to be that time, no matter where you're at, no matter what's going on.
Yes.
That time.
And it has to be cold. So when it's delivered, this medication is like specially mailed from certain pharmacies. I forget where they come from, but it comes like with cold packs. It is literally like it comes in this huge box, and so when they tell you, they give you a little thingy. So like if you're gonna travel with it, like keep an ice pack with it because it has to stay cold. And it's called like Oh my goodness. Really? Really? Okay. It's Cetrotide and what? Why did?
That was get sued by the dream.
Okay, I took it off.
Okay.
So maybe he won't be able to do it. So the first, I can't remember both names, but Cetrotide is one. And what? Are you kidding me right now? Bro, how do you keep getting into the music? Okay. Where is the music app? Jesus. Soren! You know what? Let me just take the Bluetooth off. Because what is happening? Disconnect. There we go. Okay. Now you can do whatever you need.
So you said Septipide, what's it called?
Cetrotide.
That's the name of the liquid or whatever that you're injecting?
Yes.
Okay.
There's another one. It's Menopure.
So one shot was Septipide?
Oh, you shooting me? Okay, I just did a forget device.
Okay.
I will.
So the one shot is what's it called again?
Cetrotide.
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 Okay.
And the other one is Menopure. Menopour.
And you had to take one in any order, or it had to be the same order? Okay, but it had to be together, same time?
They had to be done, yes. I have videos of me injecting myself. So you do those for 10 days. Well, one is for like 8 days. The other is for 10.
Okay.
Again, still same time every day. Once you hit that last day, then you have to go and get a trigger shot, but I'll get back to that.
Okay.
So every day while you're on this medication, you're literally at the doctor's office every 2 to 3 days. Every 2 to 3 days. They need to monitor the sizing of the follicles to make sure that they're actually growing, and they want to make sure that they're growing at the right pace, because that medication is supposed to like rapidly increase how big your eggs are. I forget the size that they're supposed to be,
Right.
but when you go in, you get all these sonograms and you can actually see them clustered up. Then they'll let you know, like, okay, so you have, like, on the last day of your medication, they'll let you know how many eggs they see. And then they'll prepare you for your trigger shot. So they'll write your prescription, you get a trigger shot, which you have to get from certain specialty pharmacies. So luckily, the pharmacy was one train stop from my job. But if you don't live in this area, you are searching hard for a specialty pharmacy, because so many people are doing IVF now. That medication is very limited to find. Thank you. Here you go. So the trigger shot has to be taken within 72 hours before your next appointment, because it literally tells your brain to release those eggs.
Okay.
So those eggs are now floating down out of your ovaries into your uterus, and this is the perfect time for them to come in and take them out.
Got it.
So now you go in to get them removed, and they put you to sleep. It's a procedure they must put you to sleep for, and I will tell you, it was very painful after. What you don't read when you read about IVF are these things. So I'm thinking,
talk about it.
I'm thinking, all right, so I'm gonna like have some injections. Gonna like get pregnant. That's it.
Right.
I'm not thinking of anything in between. Because then I'm saying to myself, how do you think they're gonna get these eggs out of you? How do you think they're gonna put it back into you?
Right.
It was never an idea, so I'm like doing research, but it was really difficult for me to find like that middle part of the procedures.
So to get them, they cut you or they go up in there?
No, they go inside and then they use like a aspirator. So it's a very small needle. And they're watching it on the ultrasound camera, and they are removing the eggs from you. So I have 14 eggs.
Okay.
And then
did they have like a setup, like was it like a range of how many they expected, or?
Every woman is different. So the younger you are, the more you can produce.
Okay.
The older you get, it is harder for you to produce a multiple amount of eggs like that. So like in your 40s, you may have like a good like 6, and you might have a viable 2.
Gotcha.
It's better to do it in their mind when you're younger, because studies show that you get more eggs, you get more options.
Right.
I had 14, but when I got up from my procedure, I'm like, all right, what do we do next?
Right.
You know, I'm excited for the next.
Right.
At that time, simultaneously, the dad is there giving his sample. So he goes into a room and he should give out his sample. And what they do is they'll wash his sperm.
They wash the sperm?
They wash the sperm.
How do
they
do
want
that?
it, I don't know. They want it to be as clean as possible so the egg doesn't reject it.
Okay. Just rinse the sperm.
My insurance pays for for them to literally put the sperm directly with the egg. Others aren't like that. Some people their insurance may not cover that, so they just put them in a petri dish together and just hope that they come together. My insurance is now, thank goodness for great insurance. It's like, no, we're gonna create these babies.
Right.
So
that's what's up.
So they did that. After the washing, they see how many I have. So every day for like the next 3 to 4 days, you can call and see like what's happening with your eggs. So I originally had 14, only 9 were matured.
Okay.
And Soren, you are 1. And I had 5 I had 5 eggs that took to the sperm.
Okay.
And went to the blastocyst phase. So, you know, that's where the cells start to multiply. Oh, okay, sorry. So sorry. That's when the cells start to multiply and you know, a baby is actually being created.
Right.
So I'm anxious about this period, so I called literally every single day. Like, okay, so what's happening now? What's happening now? So I knew I had 5. But because I had 14 eggs be removed out of me, they did not do what is called a fresh transfer.
Okay.
Fresh transfer is that same day, they would have put the sperm and the egg together, and then they would have just implanted me with them. Excuse me. Where was your bobo? Can you go find your bobo, please? Because you're making this take so much longer. Go get your bobo and your blanket. Bobo and blanket. Go to your room and get your bobo. Thank you. It's not your room, but okay. So, fresh transfer is you know what a blanket is. Smart baby. Get the blanket, get the blanket, get the blanket. Not that.
Distraction.
So again, fresh transfer gives me gives you the opportunity to like start your process at that day. My doctor did not agree to that because he said that I had way too many eggs, and you can go into something called a overly hyperstimulated ovary. Something else. Basically speaking, my oh God, don't squeeze it. My ovaries could have shut down.
Oh, okay.
And then we can't have any babies after that at all. So that's not promising. Luckily, you have to have somebody advocate for you because you know there's not much that we know going into this. Sometimes we know what we know, which is some of what the internet tells us, but we don't know what's good for us and what's not. And I'm happy I had that advocate to say we can't allow you to do that. So I was a little sad, but I had to wait another month. So I had to wait till my menstrual came for the next month, which was in September. So it wasn't really too far. So you are killing me. You cannot eat this because this was in your bag all night long. Bye, And so I had to go what's called the frozen transfer. So they take my eggs and freeze them and then thaw them out the day that I will be coming in for my what's called the transfer, which is your implant day. That day was like very exciting for me. I waited a full month and I'm like, I'm ready. I did not choose to test my eggs. Anybody that does this, you are very much in your right to test your eggs. It does cost per egg. And because they took 14 out of me, they would have tested all 14 eggs at $500 an egg.
Okay.
Do the math.
Right. Now, is it $500 due to your insurance or?
Facility. Every facility is different.
We're recording.
Dude, come on. All right, come on.
A few minutes later.
So what I was asking you was the $500 per, was that price based on your insurance or that's just?
No, that's facility fee. So it's wherever you go. Their facility, they source it out to a third party. So that facility charges whatever they charge. So my facility, it was $500 per egg plus like an additional $200 to like send them over and then send them back or something like that.
Got it.
And I was just like, no thanks.
Got it.
I have faith in God. This is gonna work. So the day of the procedure to implant, you go in early. I went early. I wanted to go early. I was excited.
Get out the way.
Yeah.
Get it done. Let's do this.
Come on, let's get this done. And they want you to have a full bladder, and I mean uncomfortably full. And because they need to see it on the screen, on the sonogram screen, and it illuminates, your full bladder illuminates your uterus.
Okay.
And they asked me which egg did I want to implant, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm unsure.
Get the best one.
But give me the best one. They grade your eggs. So your eggs are graded like an A to D. And I had an A. Storm was an A.
Pick that one.
And I was like, let me get that one. We're going to hope it's a girl.